Hi everyone, Colin Shadwell back for yet another throwing tutorial. In my last video I made a really big genie bottle, and today I'm going to make a really big moon jar, which is a shape that I've made before, only this time I'm going to use the same process I used last time, where I make the piece in two separate parts and then put it together. So here I'm working on the base. Again, you want to keep this really thick all the way through so it has enough weight to support. When I say really thick, I mean like a good ½ inch. That's pretty thick for throwing pieces. So a lot of this I'll carve away later on, but basically I'm throwing a big kind of giant tall bowl here and then smoothing it out with the rib tool and kind of getting it generally where I want. And then once I have it where I want, I'll measure with the calipers here and try to get the general width of the top, and I'll start throwing the second piece here. This one I actually kind of threw a little bit backwards. Usually when I do something like this, I'll throw this piece upside down, but this time I went ahead and tried to just pull it all the way out to see if I could do it, and it actually worked out really well. So what I'm doing here is basically making a giant donut. I'm trying to get the width of the donut is the same width as the top of the piece that I just finished throwing, and then I'll try to collar it back in. It's kind of hard to do it this way because you have to keep throwing it. It's hard to throw a wide piece and have it come back to almost nothing in the middle again. So you just kind of have to keep collaring and make sure you have enough clay to do it with. So you can see here that I'm getting some good height. I'm not really worried about the top and the wobbliness. Actually, my battery died there, and I had to stop mid-throw and change the batteries. So that's how committed I am to making these videos, is that I'll stop a pull midway through and go change my batteries on my video camera. So back on here, I'm smoothing things out and then just slowly collaring this back in. When you collar, you have to kind of pull up a little bit so you can get some kind of vertical part here. Get a little bit of vertical, and then squeeze it in, come back in, pull a little bit more up. Just kind of keep getting closer and closer to the middle until you get where you want. And then I go ahead and chop it off. Once I get to the where I want it, then I'll go ahead and chop off the uneven part of the top here. But you can see I get it pretty tight. It's probably about a less than 1 inch hole at the top. This piece I was able to take the base and turn it upside down and trim a foot on it, which I usually won't. I'm not able to do that, but on this one I got it close enough. It's still, again, I'm usually trimming these a bit more wet than they need to be. They probably should be more leather hard, but timetable concerns had me trim this a bit earlier. So now I'm just turning it over and then locking it over on the underside, and then scoring here as well, going ahead and re-wetting the top so it's nice and wet, and then scoring the top. Lots of slip, getting the top part here. And then again, just like the last one, it's just a matter of kind of lining it up the way you want it to and then blending these pieces together. And it's not perfect, again. That old saying comes back again. You only notice that it's not perfect when it's spinning, and it's rarely spinning on someone's table when it's finished. So blending it together and then letting it dry until it's leather hard, and now I can really do some serious trimming on this. So now I'm just kind of looking at the overall shape and make sure it's a nice smooth transition from the foot up to the shoulder and up to the neck. One smooth piece here. Smoothing out with my rib tool here. And then I was going to put some cheddar marks in this, and I started up high and put a whole bunch of cheddar marks in, and I realized I didn't like it over the entire piece here. So the middle was still wet enough from when I was combining this that I could smooth it out with my rib tool and get rid of some of that. So I just decided to put it on the bottom half of here. Again, I like these little stop and start marks to kind of let them know where the texture stops and starts. And then now for some negative space. So I've got my X-Acto blade here, and this one I just kind of free-handed and decided to go for it. I cut a little, I guess, oval shape with points on the end, and then I'm trying to get the four corners put in, and then I put one in between here as well. So these nice little patterns are easy. The only thing that I thought I did wrong on this is, and I should have caught it and I didn't, was that on the inside of the vase there's a little lip from where the two pieces met, and it's smooth on the outside and it's not smooth on the inside. Now obviously I can't get to it with such a small little hole on top. So in future ones I'll know to kind of smooth that up before I combine the two pieces to try to make it a little more transition. You can kind of see it on the inside there. There's a little lip that's sticking out, which is not very pretty, and you wouldn't normally see it unless you're cutting out pieces like I am here. So in between my little oval pieces here, I'm just cutting out some triangles to kind of fill out the space, to kind of give it kind of a Celtic look. And then I'll go back and smooth out all these little lines later on that I've used as guidelines so that they don't really show up and it looks nice and pretty and clean by the end. So here's what it looks like when it's totally finished. Nice texture on the outside, cool little carvings at the top. This is probably 22 inches high, maybe a little bit shorter than that, maybe 20 inches, but a really nice piece.